I'm pretty confident that everything said in this room remains confidential. So I'm just going to come out and say it, Godfather. I haven't come here today asking for a favour. I've come asking for some advice. I've always had a weakness for women, and I'm sure in your line of work, Godfather, you've come across many people like me, who are infected with an addiction to the allure of allure. There's no point in beating myself up about it. I know, I hear you. It's just that I've got a new wife, young wife, early mid-30s, and I'm committed. I'm committed to pledging my full attention to her and the jobs at hand. It's just that there are other women out there, waiting to be discovered. And, I can control myself for a while. In the end, my track record speaks for itself.
Have you ever considered self-control?
Oh, you make it sound so easy, Godfather. I've been down this road before. I felt confident. I felt unflappable. But then, it might just be the sight of a white blouse on a beautiful spring day, or the merest whiff of a passionate perfume. And then I'm off like a randy stoat. Like I said, I'm clean at the moment. I'm clean now. But how do I keep up this level of hygiene?
It's a difficult question to answer. I'm not personally familiar with your situation.
Oh, come on, Godfather. We're both powerful men. We're in the same boat here. Are you telling me honestly that you've never been attracted to a delicious young thing who's pressing herself up against you?
Of course, men are allowed to be attracted. But attraction and impulse are two different things. Attraction is a state of aesthetic whimsy. But attraction is not acted upon. Only impulse.
Yes, but...
No, don't speak. I made a commitment to my wife that I intend to honor. Real men don't make commitments they have no intention of honoring. My boys, Santino, Fredo, Michael, even my adopted son, Tom, they would lose respect for me if I was to desecrate the oath that I swore to their mother.
Yes, but Santino, he's a real womanizing rogue.
Which is a great shame, Boris. It indicates to me that he would make a poor leader. Nevertheless, if I was to be unfaithful to his mother, it would diminish his respect for me, and that would damage our family. And real men don't damage their families.
Oh.
A real man spends time with his family and dedicates himself to their happiness and their contentment. Real men dismiss fleeting urges as transitory, which they are.
Yes, but these little titillations make life worth living.
Well, that depends on whether you're a serious man, Boris. Whether you intend to achieve serious things.
Yeah, I certainly want to achieve serious things. That's why I've come to you for advice.
So you want to achieve serious things without being a serious man?
Yes, but, a bit boring, isn't it?
You're a fickle man, Boris. Fundamentally not to be trusted. Which saddens me because, we've always had such amiable engagements in the past. You used to be a likeable character. I've said as much before. You are a perfect British blend of brains and buffoonery. You guffawed your way into power. And then, by simply being the most identifiable member of Parliament, you were elected Prime Minister.
Oh, proud day, and a great one for our nation, as we, the Tories, under my leadership, improve lives and protect our permanently terrified citizens from unknown and unseen menaces.
It's interesting that you think this. I would be ashamed to be so deluded.
Oh, no, it's not deluded. It's called being optimistic.
This talk makes me queasy. I will not legitimize your delusion. A delusion that comes from the very issue you came to me today to discuss.
Oh.
Your lack of seriousness is not limited to your relationships, Boris. It is clearly manifest in your farcical behavior and your lack of judgment.
Well,
you get bored too easily, Boris. You want to be doing something else, which means you place personal satisfaction above all else, which is a terrible, terrible attribute for a leader.
Yes, but if a man's not satisfied, how can he be expected to keep up with appearances and essential duties?
Discipline. Honor.
Yeah, it's all very good, but come on. How on earth do they satisfy the taste, the hunger for raw flesh?
The satisfaction that you chase is not one that can be attained. You get bored. Bored. It's boring. This is a pathetic way to behave. But when you're Prime Minister, it's a dangerous way to behave.
I do have a tendency to get bored.
Boredom is a sign of weakness. Your intellect and your charm propelled you, but they have lost their sheen with your ascent to power. They have been sucked into your boredom. They are your weaknesses now.
What do you mean sucked into the boredom? I mean, no disrespect, of course.
You allowed your intellect and your charm to justify your boredom. Why? Because you place personal satisfaction above all else, and it's always more satisfying to behave as we wish instead of as we must.
Too true.
I would advise anyone who thinks like you to stay away from positions of power. It is why you have so easily thrown away basic liberties and spread such unnecessary and unprecedented fear. Your leadership has forecasted the ugly sunrise of totalitarianism. Because you're not a serious man, Boris. Not in relationships, nor in governance.
I suppose so, yeah. Yeah, I suppose so.
Because you're bored. And you're bored because you place self-satisfaction of a kind that cannot be achieved above all else, to the point where you'll happily deceive to maintain a narrative or break principles you once so vociferously claimed to stand for without even the merest hint of acknowledgement.
Like when?
At which point you become lost to reason. You become enthralled by an unseen censor, marching a nation down the road to authoritarian rule.
Well, I prefer to call it enforcement of good practice.
Despite that, I always liked you on a personal level. You've been polite and gracious to my wife and children.
Oh, goes without saying, you know. Great woman, and great kids too, you know. I particularly like Fredo, you know. Sad he got fired from CNN.
I must say good day, and unfortunately without any hope that you'll desist with your destructive behavior. But nevertheless, you're always welcome in my home to discuss further matters, if you wish.
Oh, good on you, Godfather. You know, and I will consider what you've been saying, but, you know, I'm just not so sure, you know. Somewhere between the ages of 28 and 35. Nice bit of swimwear. I'm just not so sure. Not so sure it can be done. Well, thank you very much, Godfather. I appreciate you hearing me out, and I must introduce you to this barman friend I have.
Amanda, bring me some warm water with some lemon. I need to detoxify.